Hey guys, Brady at East Rosebud here. Today we're going to tie a kind of parachute caddis variation that I've come up with and fished a fair amount. Pretty cool in the sense it's got a wing that I haven't seen on a really any dry fly before, and I fished it kind of on a lot of freestones around here, so it certainly works and it's a fun tie. To start this fly, we're going to tie it on a Firehole 618. This is a size 14, and then some UTC 70 and tan. We'll just start our thread and work back towards that bend. We're going to take some olive, Superfine dry fly dubbing, and dub a fair amount of it here. Something like that. And we'll take this and create a dubbing loop, and what this is referred to as rope dubbing, and what it does is give you kind of cool segmentation to this body. So we're just going to bring our thread somewhere 2/3 or so up that shank. Take your dubbing tool and spin this up a whole bunch until we don't really see our thread in there anymore. Like that. Now, one after another, we're just going to palmer this forward to where we're going to tie our wing in. And we will tie that off. You can see in that body with that rope dub technique, it's got pretty cool segmentation to it. Something a little bit different. Make sure all that's lashed down. Now we're going to tie in our wing, which is Kreelex Flash in pearl, and we're going to change the color of this. I'll explain why I've been using the pearl here in a minute. We'll tie that in long, I mean excessively long, and again you'll know why here in just a second. Tie that down, kind of work towards the eye, and we're going to trim out this excess nice and tight. So we tie this long and we tie it with pearl because now you can take whatever colored Sharpie you want and turn this into whatever wing color you want. So I have this in brown. We're just gonna Sharpie up the top, go long, Sharpie the back. Try to get all the fibers. If you don't, it still looks pretty cool to have some pearl in there. Something like that. Now you're going to need a piece of whatever wire, excess wire you've got laying around your bench. Anything really will work. We're just going to kind of lash down this wing to keep it out of our way while we do the parachute part of this fly. And same deal for a parachute caddis with elk hair. You just get that wing out of the way with some excess wire. Our parachute's going to be just parapost and orange. We'll tie that in kind of right in the middle of what we have left that hasn't been tied on. A couple good hard wraps right down the middle. We're going to pick these up together, go around the base 2 or 3 times, Couple good wraps on the shank, and then we can start working up this thing. And back down. Perfect. Next step is to tie in our hackle. This is a Grizzly hackle. You can use ginger or brown or really whatever you like. And I'm just going to hold this up against the side of this parachute. Couple wraps on the parachute. Couple good wraps on the shank. And then we'll go back to the parachute and wrap it the rest of the way forward. And why you always go back to the shank, if you don't, you can work up this parachute and then all of a sudden your thread blows up off the end of it. If you do 2 or 3 wraps back to the shank, if it's going to blow up, it's only going to blow up 2 or 3 wraps. So it'll save you a lot of time when we, mess up our wraps, which we all do. So now we're going back to that Superfine dry fly dubbing. We're going to dub the head of this thing. Work forward in front of that post. Just try to get some even wraps here. And back to the post. And we'll just let our thread kind of hang from that post. Next, we're going to palmer our hackle around that post. This is tricky, take your time. And I like to get one good wrap started and then work my way down. It'll probably take 3 or 4 wraps to fill up that space. Hold it there, and we're going to tie it off to the post. So a couple good wraps. Careful not to trap a whole bunch of fibers. And it's tied off. Trim out our extra hackle. And you can come in and trim any fibers that you ended up trapping. Now I'm going to kind of pick some of these fibers up, and we're going to whip finish this thing to the post. This is tricky, take some practice. Again, try not to catch a whole bunch of hackle fibers. 2, we'll do 3 of them. We can go ahead and cut our thread out at this point. We'll go back through, make sure we didn't trap any fibers, which I did a couple, but that's going to happen on truly any parachute pattern. So let's get our wire out of there now, and we can clean up the wing and the post. We'll kind of pick this up. I like these wings to be just beyond the bend of the hook, so I hold my scissors kind of right at the bend. Cut it like that. And the parachute, you can leave as long as you'd like. I don't do them too terribly long, but again, if you have trouble seeing them, you like a taller post, it's not going to hurt the fishability of the fly at all. And there is a Kreelex parachute caddis. Great summer bug, floats high, easy to see.